Hey everybody, welcome to One More Round. Today I'm excited because we're about to have a conversation with Taylor Thompson. And we had never met until today. You had reached out to our One More Round, I think it was our One More Round Instagram,
Yes.
and asked to come on. And I'm like, sure. And I looked a little bit about what you did, but after I found out a little bit this morning, your background, I'm like, we're going to have a great conversation.
Yeah.
You just had a birthday, right?
Yes.
How old?
26.
26, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm also a May 28th.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, much older though, 43.
Oh,
But you've had a lot of success in kind of the sales world and had a unique journey. So why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself, and then we'll dive into what got you into what you're doing today.
amazing. Yeah, so my name's Taylor. I've been in the door-to-door solar sales space now for 4.5 years, and I love it. Basically just knocked doors for 4 years, and now my goal is to just impact women and create a space where women can actually, get into sales and have female mentorship, and not, just be in a male-dominated culture where they don't thrive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, so you had mentioned you, back in COVID, you were working in your dad's business. So we'll kind of go back a little further than that. Did you grow up in an entrepreneurial household?
Yes. So my dad, he's been in business now for 56 years. He's 72, started his company when he was 17.
Wow.
So he had 60 stores across the Pacific Northwest. And then in 2010, he ended up having to close down them all, filed for bankruptcy.
Oh my gosh.
So I've always been in like the business world. My dad's been coaching me since I was 7. He's like, just go ask. The worst you can hear is no. So yeah, I definitely grew up just like with the right
Yeah.
training for sure.
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
you were working in the store, I think you said, in the COVID. So tell me a little bit about going to work for him and
Yeah.
keeping it open.
It was amazing. Working with families, obviously, challenging,
Yeah.
but just being around my family every day, it kind of corrupted me because they didn't pay me a whole lot, but I didn't care because we're, building something. But yeah, during COVID, all my friends were just unemployed on boats and having fun. And my brother and I just every single day, we were just at the store. We did appointments where people would have to call in and book an appointment, and we have hilarious stories of like shooing people out the back because we thought the cops were at the door, but really it was a cop coming in to buy furniture. So yeah, it was a good time.
Wow. So you were keeping it open because you were in Washington State, right?
Yes.
And Washington State, if you don't know, is a little more on the liberal and was very hard to live in at that point in
Yes.
time. So there was massive fines and things that could have happened, but you guys decided to keep it open. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fun. We
My-
just showed up, the phone started ringing, and we're like, what are we gonna do? Like, we have rent, we have all these things. We're like, I guess we'll just keep selling. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. It's totally the mentality. So here, my good friends and actually my old business partner, Eric and John, they own Burn It Build It Fitness, which is in Midtown. Well, you can imagine being a fitness facility and
Oh,
that time,
goodness.
and they're like, yeah, we're going to shut down, you can't do it, all that stuff. So they got very creative. Number one, their members were like, no, we want to stay open. Let's keep it quiet.
Yeah.
They blacked out. So if you're driving down 7th Street, it's the nicest building between Camelback and Northern, right? It's an awesome building, and it's on the right-hand side. The challenge is it's all windows that see the
Oh
streets.
my goodness.
They blacked
yeah.
all the windows out, and for months they were able to keep open.
Wow.
And what was funny is they had a couple of officers that are members of theirs that just
Yeah.
kept things hush hush. But yeah, I mean, you do what you got to do because they still had rent to pay, and they didn't know
Yeah.
anything about PPP or EIDLs or any of the stuff that was coming out to help support, and got some people in trouble later that they had to take the money.
Oh no.
So were you able to take any of the funds to help the business stay in business?
Yes, one of my brothers, he did all that stuff. He's the type of guy that'll read like tax books, and he does all like the government stuff. That's way over my head for sure. But that's amazing that they're just like, let's black out the windows and
Yeah.
make it happen.
Yeah, that's the mentality in business. Right?
Absolutely.
Now, you said that you were in, what was the next part? You're in MLM, right?
Yes. So I ended up moving out to Arizona for a multi-level marketing company, which was Amway. And that was a whole experience, but it made transitioning into door-to-door like the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Amway a little bit, because some of you don't know. That was my original start when I was 19 years old.
That's
I didn't know
amazing.
what I wanted to do. I just knew I had big ambitions, and somebody who would actually become a mentor and a friend approached me. I got in the business. Looking back, I'm like, gosh, man, I can't believe people bought what I was selling.
Yeah.
Although some of the products are really good, Excess Energy and SA8, and so, but a lot of the skills I learned and the people that I learned from, I translate into even what I do today in the business I had for 15 years and sold.
That's amazing.
So what did you learn during that period of time? What were the values of it?
I think the biggest thing was mindset, and just like every success book, every success principle is universal, right? And that's a big thing that they taught. And just reading the books and developing the mindset of winning and just showing up for yourself every day. Like, we had a Facebook page where everyone would post their like nightly push-ups, and everyone was doing like a 365-day push-up challenge. So I think just getting around people that have the principle of winning and developing those daily habits of reading and the whole checklist.
Yep.
I think it just changes everything. How long did you do Amway for?
I did it for 10 years.
10 years?
I did it.
Oh
So,
my goodness.
and I had actually a corporate career, and then I started my business kind of at the tail end, my digital agency of it. But I did have some success, and I'm pretty sure, at least the organization we were a part of, which were several thousand, I had sponsored more people than anybody in the state.
That's
like
amazing.
Personally, not like in depth or anything.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget the eye-opening for me, because I drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Just to be honest with you, my wife and I were involved, and we didn't always see eye to eye on it and stuff. And thank God we're about to celebrate 20 years together. But she probably could have divorced me several times from that time frame, because I was an idiot. But I drank the Kool-Aid. But here's when it dawned on me. Our upline double diamond came, and his name was Joe Markowitz.
Okay.
And I still have a lot of respect for him. I was able to go to North Carolina and stay with him at his house, and it was great.
Yeah.
But he was out here, and he was doing one of our rallies, and we had a couple hundred people there in the room, and he was doing his thing, and he was great, excellent speaker, motivation. There's a reason the guy had the success he had.
Absolutely.
And I was kind of the one of the main leaders. I was showing the plan in the area and all that. He says,
that's amazing.
A lot of you guys just don't realize that you don't have to sponsor that many people to have the success. It's like 20 people. You should be able, me, Doug Weir, all these guys sponsored 20 people, and we went diamond, personally, 20.
Yeah.
Who in here sponsored that many people? I'm like, easy.
Yeah.
Who in here sponsored more than that? 30, right? 40. Now the hands go down, and he looks at me. I'm the only person. And he says, how many people have you personally sponsored? I said, 52. He's like, and he looks at my upline platinum, or my upline ruby at the time.
Yeah.
And I could just tell, he's like, and I didn't know. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And then it dawned on me, like, oh, this really isn't going to work for me. Because all our diamonds were away, in North Carolina, and the only success they saw were just, we were making $4,000 or $5,000, a month, on a good month, and none on bad months and all that stuff. But I'm like, this is not going to be what I thought it was. Yeah. And it triggered at that moment, and I started kind of my exit plan, and over the next year I did. But what was it for you?
I had maybe 2 people that I sponsored, but it was during COVID. So everything was Zoom, so it just didn't work.
Right.
Like, it has to be in person when you're trying to get people into a pyramid scheme, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and when they're probably Googling while they're on Zoom with you.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
We don't tell them it's Amway for 8 weeks.
Yes.
Why do you think sponsoring 52 people that you never did hit diamond?
Because I could never duplicate what I could do to sponsor people.
Oh,
and
really?
it was and out here again, we didn't have like that pinnacle of success. We didn't even have a local diamond in our organization here.
Was that all in Arizona?
All in Arizona.
That's crazy, because we in Washington State, I don't know if you know, but
Worldwide Dream Builders. I know them. Yeah, Brad Wolgamont, Brad Duncan, Greg Duncan.
It's like
Premier.
the hub. Like you don't live in
Yes.
Washington State if you haven't been approached by Amway. So we all moved out here like shortly after COVID happened because this was like an untapped market.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to hear that you were out here for 10 years.
Yep,
Before
just
that.
grinding away with the,
Yeah.
so we were part of the leadership team development with Larry Winters and Joe Markowitz. And
That's amazing.
but yeah, so I wouldn't take it back. I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but I wouldn't take it back because again, I've still got a lot of people to this day that did business with me in my old company, my digital agency, that are now clients that I'm a financial advisor, CHFC, and they're clients of mine now.
Yes.
So I maintain those relationships. Even now looking back, I'm like, yeah, I did kind of talk to them into stuff, but I didn't know any better.
Oh, for
I
sure.
didn't know any better.
That's the beauty of Amway. Like I got into solar because when I first moved out to Arizona, I worked at a coffee shop and a diner out here to recruit people to Amway. So all I did was talk to people, grab 2 to 3 contacts a day, and that was my whole job basically was Amway, but through the coffee shop and the diner. So all my coworkers hated me, but all of the customers loved me.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I met a guy working at Press Coffee in Scottsdale, and he invited me to a networking event. And then that's how I got into solar. And my best friend to this day, I tried to recruit her. And she went through the process and then didn't talk to me for a year. She's like, I don't want a pyramid scheme. I'm like, no, I just want to be friends, I promise. And she just recruited me somebody for solar who has now helped us build out a whole call center. And they just had a deal close like an hour ago. And if I never did
congrats.
Amway, I would have never met those people.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because I have a similar story. I wouldn't be probably in this business had I not been in Amway.
Really?
Because a specific person, his name's Johnny Allo. He's a great friend of mine. We knew each other in Amway, lost touch. He was in the mortgage industry. I started my digital agency. We started doing business there. We became great friends. He introduced me to probably half the people, well, that I knew or indirectly would go on to know through my network, right? And that actually ended up getting me into the Arate program with Ed Milet and Andy Frisella, which is where I met my partners because we were in the coaching group at the time when I owned my other company. And had that not happened, had I not got hospitalized, gone through a heart transplant, died twice.
Heart transplant.
They came to visit me, did my estate plan there. I would have never even thought about this industry.
Wow.
And then when I got out, I'm like, I want to do something different. I sold my company. I left being the COO of the national company that bought us. And, my wife and I were really just trying to figure out what to do. And this is what I want to do. I mean, this helps people. So I went through all the schooling and all the different things. But
that's amazing.
had I not been in there and not met Johnny, there's a chance, right? So it's never, the good Lord has a way of putting you in the right position, whether you know it or not.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like that's exactly what happens. So you get in solar, and what do you're obviously, you like people, you have some sales background, but solar, that's door to door. That's going, talking to people you don't know and really don't want to talk to you, or they think they don't.
Yeah.
Tell me about getting into that.
It's really funny because when I first got into solar, I thought that I would do it as a joke. I was had moved out here, went from working at my dad's company to working at a coffee shop. I'm like, what am I doing out here in Arizona? And then I find this door-to-door opportunity, and I'm like, this will be fun for a month as a joke. I had 2 other jobs. I was actually working at a furniture store out here as well, and then started knocking doors. I got a deal my second day ever knocking, and I was just doing it part-time. And the same day that I got the text about my deal, I was at the furniture store, and this girl calls. She's like, hey, are you guys hiring? I'm like, actually, yeah, we are. I'm quitting. So it was really a journey. At first, just immediate success going from Amway, where I never made money in Amway. I just lost money, which amazing experience, the training and everything. And then finding door to door, I'm like, wait, I can make money today, and I can recruit people that can make money tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is.
So I just saw it as the best opportunity after doing Amway for 2 years and never making money, working really hard in that space. So it had its challenges for sure, especially as a female. I had never done a real sales job before, but overall I'm so grateful that I found the industry because as a woman knocking doors, you do have a little bit of an advantage as far as, you know, people want to
More
talk to you.
approachable. Sure. Yeah.
It's a lot harder emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've cried on the doors probably like 36 times, if not more. One time I knocked on a door out here in Arizona, and the guy could tell that I was basically crying. He's like, well, I already have solar, but I do need a battery. If you want to get me a price for that. I'm like basically crying, like, yeah, we can do that. We can help you with that. So yeah, I love it though.
Yeah.
I would never change a thing.
So your second day, you make your first sale. So walk me through. You're knocking on the door. What's the pitch?
Oh my goodness. So my pitch when I first started was literally I'd knock on the door and be like, hey, how's it going? My name's Taylor. We're just stopping by about the net metering program. They came and swapped out your meter like 2 to 4 years ago. Do you remember that? No? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that was phase 1, so they can track all your energy consumption remotely. Phase 2 is the new renewable program. In the past, solar was 5 to 10 grand up front, or you had to take out a big loan. But now there's a new program where you're able to just get on a lower fixed rate for power. But I had my pitch memorized my first day, so I was just going out there reciting this whole pitch. Mm-hmm. I had no idea what I was talking about. I was talking about a net metering program, which I didn't look that up until 2 months after I started. I'm like, oh, wow, that's really cool how that works. So I was just out there, had no idea what was going on, and I was just knocking doors and saying a silly pitch that doesn't really make sense that I look back at it. Yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't have any idea either. Like, oh yeah. Net, no. If you would have knocked on my door, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Pretty much, yeah.
But when people will knock on my door, I generally say, oh no, we rent.
Oh.
I mean, we're renting from our mortgage company, but
yeah.
I don't say that, the mortgage company part. And they're like, oh, okay, and then they just like move on.
Yeah, that is so funny because me and my coworkers, we all love when people lie to us about renting.
Yeah. And
we'll stay there and talk to people and then try to trap them into telling us that they actually own. And it's pretty funny.
Well, walk me through that. How do you get to that point? If I answer the door and I say, hey, we just rent here, but thanks, have a nice day.
Yeah, so we have the homeowner's name, right? And it's usually pretty accurate. So we can kind of know sometimes, especially if it doesn't look like a rental. It's like, oh yeah, no worries. It's just about the rates increasing. Like, we'll have to get a hold of them another way. Do you have their number by chance? Like, oh no, you don't. Okay, no worries. So yeah, the mortgage rates are just gonna be going. You just say like nonsense until people like break character and they're like, wait. And then they admit that they're the homeowner. It's fun. It's a good time.
That's awesome. Well, and it's persistence, right? Anytime.
Yes.
Because you're not manipulating necessarily. What you're doing is you're trying to get to a place where they'll at least hear your value proposition. Correct?
Yes, exactly.
And then they can make a decision one way or the other. And if it's not for them, it's not for them. But that's an important thing in sales too, is understanding that if your intention is to do right by the customer,
yes,
then it's your duty to make sure that you're having the full conversation and not just taking a no as, no, never. It's, oh, maybe not now because I don't have enough information. So what kind of sales training did you go through?
I have just been trained by, like, door-to-door is very unprofessional in a lot of ways, where you just go and you follow people on the doors. So I've worked for probably 10 companies the last 4 years. So just learning from different people, like you kind of just find the people that are out there crushing, and then you just kind of latch on to them and make them teach you. Door to door, I don't know if insurance or financial services is similar, but you only get the help that you ask for.
Yeah.
So my VP at the first company I worked for, he didn't knock with anybody, but I harassed him for a month until he went and knocked with me. So I think in door to door specifically, you have to ask for the training. But there's also a million resources online of phenomenal sales training. So I think if you're hungry, you can go out there and find it no matter what. Where some people come in, they're like, I don't know sales. They don't memorize their pitch. And it's like, how do you expect yourself to win if you're not even willing to put in the work?
Right.
Yeah.
No, and that's it. You got to have that drive and work. Yeah, and at our company, how it works is, so Ariel and I are CHFCs, and that all that does is allow us to do the AUM side, but we do retirement planning. But on the life-only license, they can do life and annuity and estate planning. They're a majority. We actually, when I bring somebody on, I'm working directly with them. I'm doing multiple presentations, and really what we're doing is we're looking to develop a plan for somebody, because I'm not selling a product.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people in the life insurance world, they're selling a product. No, I'm selling a plan. And part of that plan is your life insurance policy. Part of it is an estate plan. Part of it is, you want to retire then, well, we got this amount of years, do we know what Social Security looks like?
Yeah.
And we walk and we teach them the presentation to make sure people understand that we're putting together a plan, and then there's products along the line that fit and fill the need.
In their plan. I like that. That's really cool.
They get to see that hand in hand, and we do, splits in the beginning. But what's interesting is the closing rate is super high. Like, if we're meeting someone for the first time, my closing rate is probably 80%.
Oh, wow.
All right, and that's not to brag. It's because it's done, and I was taught by the right way to do it by Ariel.
Yeah.
And you're right though, but you have to ask. But we make it mandatory. Like the first 5 people, we have to work together, so you can kind of see how I ask questions.
Go through the process.
Set people at ease, help them understand how this is going to solve a problem. And sometimes it's making them realize that there's a problem that they didn't even know they had.
Yeah. That's really cool too that you guys do. That's basically like a setter-closer model in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
That's really cool, because one of my friends, she started life insurance and she was buying leads and just never found success.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why don't you just set appointments for somebody that knows how to close?
Yeah.
And I went to Florida randomly and spent 4 days with an office out there with FFL. And I was in the elevator and this lady was like, oh, what do you guys do? I'm like, oh, we do life insurance. She's like, oh, yeah, I talked to Globe Life. Like, I couldn't get a policy. I'm like, I went immediately into setter mode, because we do setter, closer, and solar. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm super new. I don't really know that much. But my boss, he's amazing. Like, what's your number? You should come in tomorrow. And she closed. And I'm not even licensed, but I got paid on that deal.
It's very true, because at the end of the day, like just that specific lane, life insurance, a lot of people, they might get denied. And okay, well, let's talk about why you got denied. As what's changed since then. Sometimes it's not medical. Sometimes they had a DUI 5 years ago.
Oh,
okay.
Really? Okay.
Well, now it's been 8 years. And, we have some different carriers. We have 40 carriers that we can talk to.
That's amazing.
Is it still a need that you have right now, for your family? Well, yeah. Okay, great. Well, why don't we take an application and let's talk about what you actually need, and let's take an application, see what kind of ratings we can get you approved at. Are you good with that? And then you walk them through. But I mean, honestly, if somebody was just setting appointments all day, I mean, again, closing rate would be super high, just because, again, you know how to find the need.
That's
amazing. So setter, closer model in your industry. So now are you still knocking doors, or are you recruiting?
So now I just got back from the Blitz. I was out there for 2 weeks. I'm doing more like half and half.
What's a Blitz? Tell everybody, because I don't think a lot of people know what that is.
A Blitz is basically just where we'll go out and work for a week or 2 weeks, 10 days. Mm-hmm. Like we'll all travel together, go out and work. So you're just head down. It's 12-hour days, 10 days straight, and then you go home. So instead of living in market, because we sell in the Midwest, those are the best markets for solar right now. Yeah. And for 3.5 years, I didn't have an apartment. I had all my stuff in my car. It was just Airbnb to Airbnb, just bouncing around like crazy, which was an incredible experience. It taught me to be very minimalistic, and I was able to travel a lot, go to Asia and stuff like that for weeks on end, because it's actually cheaper than living in America. Mm-hmm. But I'm very over that life. So I got an apartment 2 months ago, and now I'm doing part on, part off, and recruiting the other part. Because I'm sure you know, but sales, at the end of the day, it's empty if you're not bringing people on, helping people learn and grow, and changing lives. Right. So that's my goal for this year, is just to recruit a lot of people, a lot of girls, because girls kill it at door-to-door and in every sales industry, and there's just not enough females to really help them win.
I agree 100%. In my old company, my digital agency, it's funny because I only had maybe 3. There was only 3 guys that worked for me. Everybody else was female.
Wow.
And it's not that they were all in a sales role. I mean, they had different functions: website design, PPC management, Facebook ads, all of those different types of things. But I found that they generally, and I'm not including those 3 guys because they were freaking rock stars. One of them was my partner, owned 10 health clubs out here, sold it for millions of bucks, was my mentor. The other two are amazing, but the girls generally just work harder. I feel like if you find the right ones. And my wife is like that. She's a freaking rock star. She built a company from absolutely nothing to it's doing extremely well, a national peptide company.
That's
and
amazing.
like she just has it, and she's great with people.
Aww.
And I know like eventually she'll probably sell that company. She'll come on here and we'll work together in this field.
Yeah.
She'll be the people facing. We have Adela, who's the CEO of this company. She is the best. I mean, you sit someone down with her and she identifies a need, they're going to move forward because they genuinely know that she cares and it's the best suitable thing for them.
Yes.
So I think you're definitely on to the right thing if you can help coach and teach them, because I'm sure what are some things you often see when you're recruiting somebody as far as like an insecurity or things that you have to help level up their confidence?
I think especially with women, they don't believe in themselves. They haven't been, trained from a young age where they want to go out and work hard and make a lot of money. And they also look at a lot of sales fields and they don't want to just work with a bunch of dudes, right?
Right.
So I think ultimately people, they always say, like, oh, I don't know how to do sales. I'm not a salesperson. Nobody is.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely nobody is. Like, in Amway, my upline Diamond, actually, he did this talk that he'd do all the time, one of the board plans, and he always talked about how when he was a 18-year-old, he worked at a shoe store and he would hide in the back because he didn't want to talk to the customers because he was so scared of people. The most introverted man, like terrified of even having a conversation with a stranger. And then he goes to impact millions of lives, be a diamond in Amway where he's in front of everybody, encouraging them. So he always talks about how like being introverted or extroverted is just a construct that you develop. You get to choose if you like to talk to people, and you have to overcome that fear. And I think that's the biggest hurdle, is overcoming that initial fear and the limiting belief that like I am who I am and I can't change that, if that makes sense.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I always tell people you wouldn't care so much about what people thought about you if you knew how often they actually did. Right?
Yeah.
They don't. People aren't thinking about you. But the key, if you can teach someone to be interested in people. That's why I started this podcast. I'm just interested in people. Like if you were to go back, I think we're on 111, 112 episodes. If you were to go back, there is no theme or anything.
Really?
3 weeks ago, I had Danielle, great friend of mine. She's president of DP Electric.
Cool.
Last year, top line revenue, $350 million. Before you were in here, a gentleman who owns a placement agency, and he helps seniors go into care, helps get it financed and stuff. It's amazing. He was a nurse. So, but if you're interested in people, anybody can be interesting. They have something.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, a key to sales. Because if you can't be interested in somebody, then it's going to be real tough. Because then you're just slinging a product or slinging a service, and you don't really care about them. And people genuinely can feel that.
Oh, absolutely. You have to care, and you have to like have all of your focus on the homeowner or whoever you're selling to. Like, you have to just care about them at the end of the day. And I love that you said that, because as I've been doing this more like recruiting role the last few months, like I'll talk to anybody and everybody that's in my DMs, because you never know where that can go.
Right.
And just hopping on the call, like I hop on calls every single day with random people. I know nothing about them. I don't know why we're hopping on a call sometimes. I just love to get on a call with somebody and learn about them and what they do. And then you find all of these crazy ways to put puzzle pieces together and connect people. And I think it's so fun. Like, life is cool. And people just live in these little bubbles where they don't even talk to strangers anymore.
Right.
And I'm a crackhead. That's all my friends are like, Taylor, you've talked to more strangers in the last hour than I've talked to in my life. Yeah. Yeah. But I think it's fun.
Well, how do you open up new opportunities if you don't? Right?
Exactly.
And it depends on what somebody's goals and what they want. Like, family is always first for me. I want to create something great for my family. But I also know to create something great for my family, I've got to help thousands of people. And to do that, I've got to know thousands of people. And that starts with meeting people I don't know.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, so I'm the president of the National Hispanic Construction Alliance, Phoenix chapter out here. So I was at our national board in D.C. a couple of weeks ago and got to know some of those folks. But through a connection with Danielle, so she introduced me to Julia, who works at SRP, and then Rosemary, who's at Hensel Phelps, which Hensel Phelps, come to find out, I was just at their event yesterday, $6.5 billion last year.
Wow.
In revenue. Crazy.
That's incredible.
Building company. And they came on my board because of that one relationship that I had with Danielle. And Dom and I are great friends. We run a golf league together.
Yeah.
So then they invited me to the AMCA. So last night I go there and I'm shaking hands and I'm meeting some folks, and I meet the president of that organization. And it would have been easier for me at 4 o'clock after a long day of helping people and selling, some estate plans and getting some notoriety to go home. Of course.
Yeah.
But I got the FOMO when it comes to, well, what if I don't go to this? And I think that's, you definitely have that, it seems like.
Yeah, because you never know who you'll meet. Like, every time I go to a networking event or anything, like, I never want to go. But when I'm there, I'm like, wow, this is so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell people that are afraid to go to those is just go and try to have 2 good conversations. Not 10.
That's
Don't push your cards.
To put it.
2.
Yeah.
And a good friend of mine, one of our advisors, is a big happy hour he does every month. It's third Wednesday. It's called Wicked Awesome Happy Hour. And I don't want to go talk to 100 people. So sometimes I'll go and just to see Dave as my advisor and support, and we're sponsoring actually this year. But I'll go in there, and if I have those 2 conversations in the first 15 minutes, I'm gone.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's just my in some areas like that.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it'll be 2 hours, and it takes that long to really find someone you connect with and have that, okay, cool, I can help you in some way.
Yeah.
I can connect you some way. But
it's really cool, though, that you have that mindset even with networking events, because I feel like that's such a, like, for example, on Fridays with the different teams I've worked with throughout the years, we will do, like, if we get this many leads or this many deals, like, we can all go home. So even in, like, networking, which you don't have to do, you still have those, like, requirements where it's like, oh, if I get these 2 conversations, I can go home, which is just cool how that bleeds over to, like, every area of life.
Absolutely. And it's all those disciplines you develop in sales and networking and all
Yeah.
that. So I know this year your focus is on kind of door knocking and recruiting, a little half and half. What's the bigger vision? What do you want to accomplish in the next 10 years?
That's a really good question. I am very faith-based, and I always say, like, whatever God wants me to accomplish, like, he'll figure it out for me. So I try not to make, like, too many plans long-term, because the plans I have made long-term, my life looks nothing like that, and I'm very grateful, But the short-term, like the next few years, I really want to create a course for salespeople, for women, for the door-to-door space, because I'm sure you've heard of Shelby Sapp and how she's blown up.
Yeah, I think I've seen her on TikTok. Yep.
Yes, so she is insane. She makes millions of dollars on Instagram alone per month, and then she's made millions and millions off her course. So I would love to create something similar in the door-to-door space to help girls.
Yeah.
And the way that she does her course, she's almost too big where she's not actually able to help the people that are paying $4,000 to take her course. So for me, I want to do like, oh, you complete this and then you get hired.
Yeah.
And then all of my reps are just already trained. So that's what I really want to do this year, and a lot of content stuff just to get the word out there. Like, hey girls, like, you can make money in sales. Which I feel like life insurance in the financial space has done great with that, where there's tons of women that dominate the industry. But door to door, I don't know what it is specifically, but there's hardly any women in it at all.
Yeah, I think there's a perception that it's tough and only guys knock doors.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely that perception. Life insurance and the financial space has gotten better at that. But like I mentioned to you earlier, though, before we had started, the one thing in our business I really don't like is the MLM. Even though that's the world I came from, I've never gone back, and I never would. Certainly with the financial space, because, I mean, if I wanted to recruit, and I'm not bragging, I know for a fact I could probably sponsor 1,000 people in 5 years.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't even be hard, because I know how to meet people, I know how to value prop, I know how to sell them the dream, right?
That's amazing.
But I don't want to do that, because what I want is good, educated people in this business.
Yeah.
The ones that, okay, you care about people, and now let's make sure you're educated, and we teach you how to make sure we're not steering them down the wrong path or selling the wrong product to them. That's super important. So that's one of the things that we,
especially for longevity for the industry.
Yeah, and then I do see the GFIs and the WFGs of the world and all that stuff. They do their thing. They have their space. That's their model.
Yeah.
But it's also a churn and burn business, and I would love to just have advisors that come on and can long term make six figures consistently year after year after year after year.
Absolutely, because that's how like the solar space is. We have all these companies that they're actually just scamming homeowners. They just are. Like solar is a very not great industry for that reason, where it hurts everybody in the industry, right? Like Freedom Forever just went out of business last month, and they were the biggest company nationwide.
Wow.
So I'm sure you maybe feel that way about some of the, companies that it's all recruiting and it's all just, hey, sell all these old people that can't afford these policies and get back charges.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And it's like there's no longevity in that. And at the end of the day, if your real goal is to help people, that's not helping people.
No.
That's helping yourself short term. And there's an old saying, I got it from the movie Rounders, one of my favorites, a poker movie, but it's you can shear a sheep many times, you can only skin it once. So
that's very true.
people forget that.
Yes, I like
Reputation matters, to a high level. So
absolutely.
well, this was a lot of fun. How can people find you? How can they maybe come work for you or learn sales from you?
Absolutely. My Instagram is Solar Princess Tay, so super easy to find. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll put that link in the show notes. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the conversation. Thanks. I
love the Amway connection too.
Yeah,
that's insane.
yeah. It's we were the ones that got out.
Yeah.
So, well, we appreciate you guys tuning in today. I'm sure you got a lot of value out of this. Make sure you share it with somebody. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed on YouTube yet. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time.